away tonight as Alabama wins the tip in the home white. State in the road.
Pace team in the SEC, and will fill it up from the outside. And there you see an early three-pointer right there by London Jemison in the corner.
Quite haven't been able to get over the hump on. Offensive rebound at Chore. That was a recipe to their early success the first time. And tied. Early in the season, he dealt with injuries, has missed 8 games this year, but back playing as well as he has all season. 9 of their last 11, including 6 in a row. 3 of those by single digits. Holloway on a bounce pass, blocked by Chore. Down. Short. Here comes London Jemison. Allen a 3. Knocks it down. Boy, has he been a superstar freshman.
A really good job by Alabama. And a blown coverage for Mississippi State coming down in transition. Which is best in Division I. They can fill it up from so many different ways, particularly relying on the 3 ball.
Allen from downtown. Bama scored 97 the first time these teams met back on January 14th. And Mississippi State just looks out.
Josh Hubbard.
Picked by Chore. Goes into the chest of Sherrell. Cannot bank it in. Miss. Holloway on the reload. A third opportunity for Bama, tracked down by Allen. Holloway from the logo.
Wide open looks early on, and Holloway shooting over 43% on the season, not going to miss the third.
9-0 run for the Tide. Holloway thought about it, pitches it out to Sherrell. Bang! Bam!
Level ball movement. They're coming down in transition, driving and relocating, and then knocking them down. That's a big shot right there for Mississippi State. Sean Jones.
3 the first time these teams met, though it was not an efficient 23. Bama did an excellent job on him. Sherrell. Epps steps into a 3.
Game you find yourself getting down early, and as you fall into the style that Alabama's playing, and here you can see they're continuing to rely on the 3.
Going into the game for the first time for the Tide, as is Jalil Bethea. Holloway draws a late whistle on Matsu. That stretch for to Kentucky. Epps might have had his shot altered. Jamarion Davis.
Has a lot of potential. He struggles at the free throw line in conference play, shooting on your team, who's able to do all of the little things that might not show up in the statistical categories.
Ball Bowen picked up his. Mallette. That's a 3. This is a shoot.
Back to Hubbard and let him operate.
Open 3. Jones short. Minutes and change.
You can see number 1 Jalil Bethea has this matchup on Hubbard. He's face guarding. That's a big shot right there by really good job of communicating, and then the recognition in the last 5 seconds to switch off.
Right sole scoop pass saved by Bethea.
Player who's been trying to find his way into the rotation, hampered with some injuries early on, but starting to get it going. That's a big way. And King Grace.
Georgetown, a couple of seasons. Sherrell. That was a disjointed drop.
Quick jump for offensive rebounds and to be more explosive under the goal.
That rim must look like an ocean right now for every Tide shooter.
Well, the question is, what do you do if you...
Bama shooting nearly 60% from downtown. And Holloway adds to it. Rims down another 3, his second. Ken snapped a 2-game win streak. Writes off the pump fake. Another pump and draws a foul on Ballard.
Get to the paint and go to the free throw line.
What a re-addition.
Adjusted to your body after you have significant injuries that he has. He's been able to do a great job of that, settling into shape.
Which, as you and I talked about, is unbelievable for a player like him. Three goes down for Allen. Entire game last time these teams played. He has 13 with 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. Hubbard's first shot goes down, and he
good feet cut to get open off of Reitzel.
Oh, what a nifty move by Holloway, falling to the hardwood and scooping.
I asked Nate Oates back in October who has stood out in fall camp, and his first name was Amari Allen, and there he is once again. Young players like Allen, you just hit 5 in a row, that he would try the heat check, but unselfish to move it over to Reitzel.
Matsura, nice two-man game. Well, the Bulldogs highlight SEC night in the SEC, taking down a ranked Tennessee team that probably, I know I'm putting the cart ahead of the horse a little bit. 4:22 Bama. Bethea handling the rock for the Tide. Had it picked by Epps. It'll stay here. Reitzel deep two, knocks it in. Tide
making the decisions on the inbound.
Gets it into McGee, freed up on the screen. His second triple.
But early if you can handle it.
You were probably playing on the 8th grade team when you were in first grade. And now Holloway on the break. Up ahead, Bull Bowen spins and lost the handle.
You can't. And, you know, and if you have the personnel that is allowed to play and switch defensively around the perimeter.
Leads the league right now in scoring and assists. Hubbard cannot get it on the bank.
Buckets after he's worked so hard all month long.
Achor hits. And Jemison responds with a three. The 14th for Alabama.
Started for Alabama early on with those corner tray balls.
Kick to the corner. King Grace rattles it home. Amari Allen back into the game. Hit 5 threes early and a nice turnaround on the low block. 8 safety. Now leading the break like a quarterback. And has the assist to Holloway for 3. Last touch by Mississippi State. The Bama ball was 6. This is unbelievable. 16 for 26 from 3. Heat check. Achor, turnaround on the regather, no. Matsura, tap back, good.
It's the defensive end that they're going to have to figure out how to slow down this attack of the Tide.
Oh, here comes Epps tapping it to himself. 2-on-2. Kick out Jones. That's a 3 for State. Talked about in the first half has been right there in so many games. The record not totally indicative of how competitive.
Another attempt. He's been playing some really good basketball, a double-double in his last outing. He's able to take advantage of.
Bama, meanwhile, has won 6 in a row. Second longest streak in the conference behind only Florida as Reitzel picks. And Hubbard combined for just 8 points in the first half. Here is Hubbard off the mark. All of his shots since week 1 of the season. You just wonder how much gas he's got left in the tank. Plenty of gas. Here is Holloway. Lob to Allen. Tapped away by Achor. This month. Reitzel after 3 passes. What ball move? Good. Hubbard tracks it down. Ball tapped into the hands of Jones. Achor tries a 3 and hits. Doesn't much matter. For the 3rd leading scorer in the SEC, watching from the bench. Sherrill, his second 3.
Hands of what Alabama does well. And it's difficult to slow down the tempo, particularly when you have strong drives right there from Amari.
Time for our team to look in the mirror. We can go one of 2 ways. We can continue to medal and play 500 basketball the rest of the season.
The team was looking like with mid-season acquisitions, and now they've been able to make a response. Players elevating their game to another level. Top teams in the conference right now. Alabama had high expectations in this season. Talk about going high and short.
Mississippi State. As Sherrill goes hard to the rack with two hands.
That's really good two-man on a dime, and the big man going up top.
Hubbard blow by high off the window and a chance at the three-peat. Double take, Richard, when I was looking at his stats, realizing he had not had a single double.
The reputation of having a soft touch from the outside. But Alabama has needed an interior presence, and over the course of growing pains, and build from that. And you've been able to see that development from Sherrill.
Bo Bowen draws a foul.
Productivity early on, and most players believe that they can be that. It's a hard reality to swallow that you might need a little bit.
Feel like that it was almost expected that as a freshman, unless you were, Cooper Flagg-esque or something like that, you were going to
8-8 type program. You have to understand that you got to find how to work your minutes, and minutes may be short sometimes. You have to come in and be you talk about that atmosphere that they'll have down there in the PMAC. Should be a lot of fun to watch. You'll see if the Lady Vols can struggle to find his way.
Holloway kicks out to Williamson. Millette
open under the goal.
Holloway on the drive. Bethea hanging in the air. Athletic
team to be good at the little details, as you know it's going to be important moving forward.
It's good to see Jaden Epps back season or two. They have their sights set on a national championship. That was an expectation coming into the year.
Then drop some home games in SEC play. But this is a talented team. But you're only as good as if the talent works as
long as you win a lot of those games.
He definitely has a roster that can compete. And you're looking at under his last 9 minutes.
Meanwhile, a monster game coming up between SEC leading Florida Gators and Arkansas. College Game Day will be there to kick off a big day of hoops. Grace takes it all the way to the cup, the freshman.
They're leading in the second half, 25 points to 21. And that's a positive that you can take away.
Student-esque hodgepodge of costume wear. Warren on the take. Meanwhile, boards for assists. Bethea had it picked by Hubbard, and he is swatted at the rim by Bo Bowen. They're going to
State starting to get on a surge. Some token three-quarter court pressure.
Epps pull up.
Really good look. And Alabama had that big-time first half with 63 points. Struggling to really get things going in the second half.
Tonight, forcing the second leading scorer in the conference to 3 for 11 shooting. And an offense
dribble handoff. You got to V-cut your man and set him up like you're going back door. That'll create more space when you try to get the ball from the big and don't put him in a compromise.
Josh Hubbard.
The Bulldogs starting to chip away.
Bethea skying 6 in a winning effort against Auburn. And
basketball, but the tournament could be wide open. Postseason play is oftentimes about matchups. And if you can get matched up.
Sweet 16s, a pair of Elite Eights in there in a Final Four. Reitzel was part of that Final Four.
Ahead for the layup, but the ball finds him again. He hits the three. Reitzel.
Pick 6. 6 rebounds, 5 assists. That defensive effort you just saw. A chore counted in the foul.
The roster about the level of intensity in which you have to compete for the entire fourth.
By the way, for Mississippi State, King Grace, who went to the locker room about 5 minutes, which is a good sign for them. They will certainly need him down the stretch run.
I do, and I think particularly when you talk about getting out of the first 2 rounds to the Sweet 16, then it becomes about matchups. As you see, then you start to see teams that have much bigger and a chore. The tip dunk. Some problems. So they'll have to figure out if they get the matchups and they can be successful.
By the way, that last Bama 3. Right place
running in front of Alabama. That will be a huge barometer of how Alabama will have to compete moving forward.
Shot 50% hit 16 first-half threes. Williamson rejected by Davis Fleming.
Mississippi State made a little response in the second half, winning the second half in the point margin, but nonetheless.
As the NBA score now.